Hey everyone, here we go. It's a new packet. Unit 3, classwork. Topic 8. Yeah, we're starting with classwork here today. So we're not going to be in your entrance slips to begin with. We're actually going to do the classwork here together because there's just a lot of conversation that goes along with this. Get ready to pause the video as necessary. All right. Because there's going to be writing, because there's vocabulary, whatever the space may be. This is one of those where, yeah, pause so you can stay along with me. So, okay. So, yeah, let's get into it here. Let's see what we are working with. All right. So, certain words that we want to be aware of. So, for example, as I read through question number 1, it says create a scale. Okay. So that's the vocabulary word we want to be aware of. And we do want to know that a scale, which is what we saw from our notes, a lot of vocabulary in your notes. You might want to have your notes out where we had you fill that in, but a scale is pretty much what you count by. All right. So whatever you're going to count by. So in other words, what should we count by in order to land on the points of -2, 4, and 6? Um, well, the idea here is they're all even numbers. Forget the negative sign for a moment. 2, 4, 6. Who do we appreciate? No, okay, all right. I'm sorry. All right, so yeah, 0 is always a good spot because that's going to separate your negative numbers to your left from your positive numbers to your right. Yeah, we can count by 2, so that would be a 2, a 4, and then a 6. We don't let you skip numbers. So just because we're plotting those numbers, we just don't want to be like, yeah, let's just start throwing them places. No. We want to scale. What are we going to count by? And then when we get to the left of it, yes, we are counting by 2 still, but they are all negatives that are there. So, all right, we got that first one taken care of. The second one says Carlos uses a number line to graph the points, and they're listed there. He notices that -4 is closer to 0 than -2. He's not sure about his diagram. Use what you know about a number line to determine if Carlos made a mistake or not. Okay, so let's get our number line down. 0, again, good number to have in the middle, separates the positives from the negatives. What do we want to count by here? Well, I see 2, 3, 4. Looks like we're stuck counting by ones here. So yeah, so that's a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. All right, hopefully your numbers look a little bit better than mine there. All right. Notice we put the little tick marks on the number line, and then the number goes below it. So now if we go to the left of it, -1. All right, -2, -3, -4. All right, we got everyone in there. He said he notices that -4 is closer. No. Look at that. Look at that distance for -4. And then look at that distance for -2. That's there. So yeah, supports your explanation. So did he make a mistake? Yes, he did make a mistake. It says to support it with the number line diagram. I have done that here and shown that -2 is definitely closer to the 0. So, all right, let's go a little bit further down the road here. Again, pause is necessary here. Okay, so vocabulary words that mean positive or negative. That's another big emphasis in this unit. So it says there's a credit of $35. Anytime we credit someone's account, that is a positive amount. In other words, it's getting added onto it. And think about it. Positive symbol looks like an addition sign, which means to add. Yeah, people, we're going to see those connections here. Debit. All right, debit. This is where money gets taken out. So it is a subtraction. So in other words, we're taking it out. Take out. Not as in like take out food. I guess you are. You're leaving with the food that's there. But yeah, we're taking it out. We're subtracting that's there. Again, another common theme that's there. So it says, what is an appropriate scale? So in other words, if we want to land on 35 and we want to land on -40, again, negative because it's a debit there, what should we count by? Well, again, when you're figuring out what to count by, don't worry about if it's negative or positive. Think 35, think 40. We can count by 5. Yeah, we can count by fives. So that would be a great scale to use. Fives. I know that 5 and the S kind of look alike there a little bit. Explain your reasoning. Okay, I'm not going to have you write out the explain your reasoning here, just because we're talking about it. We can land on both those numbers. You could go highly mathematical and say it's the greatest common factor. Greatest common factor. That's the biggest number we can pull out of the 35 and the 40 that's there. Um, but yeah, that's the main thing is we want to be able to land on those numbers, counting by a 5. Plus, it's not using a lot of numbers. I could say count by a 1, but man, 35 numbers, put down 40 numbers, that's a lot to be dealing with. All right, what integer represents a credit of 35? Okay, so here we go. Integer. Integer here is a positive or negative whole number. So that's it. For positive numbers, we don't put a little plus sign out in front of it there. But numbers positive, it's just itself. These are the numbers you grew up with as a child. I guess you're still kind of children like there. Not that it's negative. I mean, being a child is not a bad thing, but when you compare your age. Anyway, here, yes, these are the numbers you've been dealing with. Positive numbers, we don't put a symbol out in front of it there. All right. Explain. Well, I think we did talk about it up here. It adds money into your account. What integer describes a debit? Again, integer, positive or negative whole number. In this case, it's taking money out. There we go, negative 40, that's there. Explain, well, there we go. We're taking it out of the account, so we are subtracting it away. All right, letter D here, based on your scale, describe the location of both of the integers on the number line. Okay, so this is something that we want to be aware of, because if you really haven't seen it before, it's one of the things that kind of throws you off a little bit. So, okay, based on your scale, describe the location of both integers. So we could say a lot of different things here. So I'm going to put down our scale though, because it does say based on your scale. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. That's good. We're from there. And then I got to get to negative 40. So, ooh, that's not going to be good. I know that. Take that arrow off here. I'm going to have to, yeah. Oh, sorry. All right, there we go. Okay, so negative 5, negative 10, negative 15, negative 20, negative 25, negative 30. Oh, am I going to have room here? Negative, I missed that. Negative 35. All right. Negative 35. That'll be a negative 40. Is that? Yeah, that's what I gotta get out to. Whew. All right. Um, describe the location. So the idea here is if we're going to talk about where 35 is at, we are to the right of the 0, and we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 units, all right, to the right of 0. 0 is one of those words, one of those starting points we like to use just simply because it gives us a location center. But again, the idea is it's a positive number, so it's to the right of it. And because we're counting by 5s, 7 times 5 is 35. So you could probably figure out the 40 without counting it. How many groups of 5 does it take to get to 40? Yeah, it takes 8 of them there. Now, I know you're like, but wait, it's negative 40. Same thing, people. Same distance that we're dealing with there. So, yeah, 8 units, all right, left of 0. And that's the key thing here, is that we are to the left of 0. All right, and I've kind of written all over the last question there, but what does 0 represent in this situation? This situation, what are we talking about? We talking about elephants? No. Peanut butter? No. Kids driving cars without a license? No, we're talking about money here, people. So 0 represents having no money in this case. Or I guess I would say, even if you say $0, you got nothing. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Ooh, always, sometimes, or nevers. So, well, the opposite of a positive number, opposite of a positive number is a negative. Yes, yes. So it is always, and that's one of those things of where again we can just circle it there. It's not sometimes, yeah, a positive number. Okay, the opposite of it is going to be a negative. Don't worry about the explaining there. We could get into, oh, I guess I will. I won't have you write. Oh, you know what? I am going to have you write it down. Ready? Ready? Because this is different opposite. This goes back to your vocabulary from your notes. Same distance from 0. And that's the idea of opposites there. So between take a 5 and a -5, they're both 5 away from 0. Take 30 and -30, they're both 30 away. So same distance from 0. All right. Will the opposite of 0 always, sometimes, or never be 0? Yeah, it's always 0 because there is no opposite of 0. Um, it's not considered a positive number and it's not considered negative, so it can't have an opposite really when it comes up. So kind of a little bit of a, not a fan of the question necessarily, but all right, last one that's there. Will the opposite of a number always, sometimes, or never be greater than itself? Okay, here we go. This guy's sometimes. Now let's look at why. Let's start with the number 5. The opposite of 5 is -5. So will the opposite of a number, okay, be greater than itself? Well, the opposite of 5 is a -5. Well, that's certainly not greater than it. But if you started with a -5 and you took the opposite of it, you'd get a 5. Would that be greater than itself? Yes, it would be. So it kind of depends. If you start with a positive, the answer is no. But if you start with a negative, the answer is most definitely yes. So that's why it's sometimes. All right, here. Expressing situation as an integer. Okay, so the main thing here is they wanted you to write it as a positive or negative number. So this is something where we need to make sure we understand what vocabulary is. Again, if we gain, all right, that's a positive. So we just chuck the number down itself. All right, don't put a positive next to it there. All right, if the number's all alone, it is positive. A fee, all right, they're charging us money. All right, they're taking money away from us. So that's a negative that's there. So -$2.50. Now, there's actually a mistake with this particular problem here because it says as an integer. An integer is a positive or negative whole number. That's not a whole number. All right, that's got a decimal that's there. So technically, no, it's a little bit of a trick question there, but we'll just go along with this. All right, a temperature of 32 degrees below zero, it is negative out. So again, there's your integer. A 56-yard loss. If we're losing something, it's setting us back. So that is a negative that's there. The freezing point of water in Celsius. Do you know what that is? Do you know what freezing point in Celsius is? Check with your local science teacher, but I believe it's at 0. And then we're depositing money. Money's getting deposited. That is a positive. Now, again, you might be looking at it like, well, wait a second, that money's leaving my hands. I'm not going to see it again. No. Deposit's all about your bank account. Your bank account's going to grow. That's why it makes it a positive amount. All right, just a few more here. And here we go. Here's actually what we're going to do here. Don't worry about these guys. We're going to say goodbye. And then let's jump in over here. All right. It says each sentence is stated incorrectly. Rewrite it. So it says the temperature is -10 degrees Fahrenheit below 0. Okay, so first of all, we don't say -10 and below 0. We can be 10 degrees below 0, but if we say a -10 below 0, that actually means we're going to be above. Trust me, it's a double negative. We're going to get into this soon enough. Just stay with me here. So the main thing is it's not. We could say 10 degrees below 0, but in this particular case, we can see it's actually not. If you go down here to your thermometer there, it's actually 20 degrees below 0. We're not going to say negative. We can say the temperature is -22. But if we're going to say below 0, we just say 20 below 0. Part B here, the temperature is -22 degrees below 0. No, it's not. We are in our Celsius here, so -20. We're counting by twos, -22, -24, -26, -28. So it's in between that -28 and that -30. So it would be -29. But again, if we're going to say below 0, we can't say negative then. So here's what we can do. We can take out the below 0 parts, and we can say it's -29 degrees, and that would get the job done there. All right. Mark the integer on the thermometer that corresponds with the given temperature. Okay, go ahead. Flash your points on there, people. Like 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Doink. There it is. My dots aren't going to come out nice, so you've got to